Hello there, I'm EMERALDLOUU. This is my channel on YouTube and I'm so happy to see you. It is Thursday morning. I am here about to get my workout on. I watched Delilah last night when I woke up at like 1 o'clock in the morning. So let's discuss it today. I'm gonna go ahead and do this review before I go inside of the gym. I finished drinking this coffee before it gets cold because then I'm really not gonna want it. Let me go ahead and do this review. So this is Delilah season 1 episode 3, Sometimes Apart. Let's go ahead and review it. Let's talk about it. Let me try to do it in under 20 minutes. So this episode of Delilah opens up and I forgot some people's names and I learned some people's names. Again, it's a new show. We're only on episode 3, so I think we all will get everyone's name by episode 5 or something like that. We are in Delilah's office and Leah is there. Delilah is showing Leah the pictures that she got from Tamara. And, you know, she was like basically asking Leah, like, did you lie to me? Were you guys really in a relationship? What's going on? What happened? And Leah's like, well, you know, I mean, I didn't think it was important. And then Delilah is like, so how'd you guys meet? And Leah tells her they met online. He was looking for it's not exclusive. Child, I forgot the word she used. Basically, he was just looking for a companion. So they met. Delilah asked Leah, did he give you money? And she was like, no. And already off rip from the way she answered the question, I was like, she about to say, she was like, he paid my rent and gave me money for other things. So it was like, so he did give you money. Because if he paid your rent, see, listen, I'm not gonna lie. Nobody gonna sit here and act like if you were given the opportunity to meet someone and they pay all your bills that you would say no. Okay? I don't want to be a side chick. I could be your girlfriend. And you know, like for example, if y'all don't know, I have a crush on Chris Brown, right? I like Chris Brown. Don't ask me why. I don't know why I still have a crush on Chris Brown. I shouldn't. I really shouldn't. But I have a crush on Chris Brown, right? He's the one star amongst all the stars in Hollywood that if, you know, oh yeah, okay. So basically, if I met him and he said, you know, it ain't gonna happen. Let me not say that. It's gonna be a very slim chance because he don't like these, okay? He don't like that. And you know. Okay. But if I were to meet him and he said, okay, I like you, but we gotta keep it on the down low because I don't want nobody in my business, and you know, I'll come through, I'll pay your rent. You think I'm gonna say no? Do you think I'm not gonna tell nobody that I live a soul? If he said, I'm gonna pay your rent, I'm going to send you $1,000 a week. I don't know how much they give their girlfriends. I'm going to give you $1,000 a week so you can buy whatever you want to buy. And you get to keep your job. And if you don't want to, listen. I would say yes, okay? Because, hello. You going to pay my rent and you already got money. Give me the rent. Give me my allowance. Let me go to work. Go to my regular job. And then transfer that money to my savings account. So basically, that's what was going on with Leah. He paid her rent. He gave her money when she needed it. And they were together. So she basically said when his assistant left, he offered her the job to become his assistant, right? A year after that, she said, he moved on and found somebody else, so they broke up. Delilah told Leah that they're willing to give her 5 years salary if she signs an NDA and turns in all her electronics. Remember last time it was a year's salary, now it's 5 years salary. But I thought it was $2 million. But then again, I don't remember what the first text message she got from was because I watched it on my phone. So I was able to rewind. But I didn't feel like rewinding that far back. But I did see the second text message, which was from Tamara. Is it Tamara? Is Tamara or Tamara? That's my baby right there. But I got a text message from Tamara and said, do we have a deal? Delilah is like, don't lie to me. Do you have anything else you are hiding from me? Please tell me the truth. No surprises and whatever. And she's going to do an interview with a reporter and to bring up Gary. And then Leah was like, so when she asked me about the whole dating situation, and then Delilah told her there's no reason for her to have to ask you that if you stay on course and if you don't get there. So of course, as we assumed, the reporter, right? I forgot her assistant's name. And then Delilah was like, I thought it was for 11 o'clock. And then the assistant was like, but she's here now. So okay, they go set up the conference room. The lady's asking her questions. Okay, it's about the, what is it? Whatever the heck the thing is called. And, you know, it's kind of like, you can't trash a show for you already knowing something's about to happen, right? But then it'd be like, I know something about to happen. And you're just aggravated because they're like, I could already tell something's about to go down right about now. I could tell, I could feel it. It's obvious, right? So basically what happens is she gets up, she gets a phone call, and she tells the reporter to hold on. And the reporter pauses the tape. At this point, I don't know if she paused it or if she started it. Who knows, right? So as soon as Delilah got up and left Leah with the reporter, I already knew something was about to get fucked up right here. Something was about to happen. I already knew it. I felt it in my bones. And guess what? Oh, Leah, dumb self done gonna tell the reporter about the website because Delilah goes outside to take a phone call from her brother. I find out her brother's name is Nate. So her brother's name is Nate. So she goes to pick up a phone call from him, and then basically Christine snitched on Delilah, which not really snitched, because if I'm with my dude and his sister pop up and kind of question me, you know, you would be like, hey, yo, get your sister. Why is she popping up in my house like this? So basically, Nate is mad because Delilah went to go see Christine. And then she was like, I'm in the meeting right now. He's like, oh, well, don't pick up the phone. I'm like, what is going on? Like, why is he acting like this? So then she goes back into the conference room, and I guess she figured out, she was like, what are you guys talking about? And when Delilah looks at the recorder, it's recording. So it's like, so what happened? Was she not recording in the beginning when they were talking about the actual stuff? And then she started recording once Delilah left the room? Charlie is a dumbass. He pissed me off. Like, what's going on? What are you doing? And the lady's like, oh, I gotta go. She's like, wait, what do you mean? I'll be calling Barbara. So right when the assistant is calling Barbara, we hear, I'm here for the child. It was a fake reporter. So not only did, yes, the reporter was supposed to be here at this certain time, because I think it was 11. I didn't check IDs. You're supposed to check IDs, aren't you? But it's a small business, I guess. Because I'm pretty sure if she had called Barbara and talked to Barbara, Barbara told her the name of the lady that was going to be coming, and she could have checked ID, okay? So the actual reporter shows up, and then it's like, da-da-da. So then we see a reporter friend. Is he a reporter or I think he's a detective. Okay, detective friend and Leah are at Leah's office, I think. And yes, because he goes to the security cameras because they're trying to figure out who the hell that lady was. So we find out her name is Kat Matthews, and we find out that she works in Tamara's building, where she works at. Of course, Delilah calls Tamara and was like, how could you do this? You slimy, grimy. Like, why would you do this to me? Like, you trifling type of stuff. And Tamara didn't know. So it was, as she's talking to Delilah, she gets an email, she plays it, and she's like, oh my God. She goes over to her boss, right? And stomps over there, and then, I think his name is Gil. Will? Or Win? Why would you do that? And he's like, no, she said, this is not how I work. And Gil was like, well, last time I remembered on the last case you did, you do work like this. Now all of a sudden you don't want to work like this? I mean, he said something about the when you get to the pearly gates, like basically like you're going to be judged for this or whatever. But, you know, so that's when she gave him clear. I was like, see, This is how your daddy treats you. Only difference is your daddy would have told you. So I'm like, okay, what's going on with his dad? Because he did mention something about his dad before Tamara got to the office. And I don't like how that lady looked at Tamara. Like, these assistants are weird, because the assistant came to the office to tell Tamara that Win wanted to talk to her. I think his name was Win. She had the same weird faces, like, and now when Tamara goes to Wynn's office to talk to him about the whole fake reporter thing, she need her ass whooped. Don't look at me like that. That's the type of stuff when you start getting ignorant, because it's like, homegirl, you an assistant, you work in the office, I'm a lawyer, you better watch yourself. Don't step on my toes, because I did not like the way she was looking at Tamara, like, you know, they don't like to see us in high positions. Child, the way she was looking at him. That brunette, she need her ass whooped. But yeah, so basically the boss, Win, he's the one who set up that fake reporter. Okay? Okay. So then Delilah pops up on Nate. Nate's playing cards with somebody at the VA hospital. And basically, she went there to go tell Nate about the fact that Christine is with Andre. And he's in denial and he's upset. And then Delilah was like, it's your fault, because she didn't want you to go back the second time and you did. You feel bad and you feel like, and you're defending this woman because the fact that you're in this wheelchair, you feel like nobody will want you. And she said, and this woman is standing between you and hell. Some weird, I don't know. But basically, you feel like you're not good enough. You feel like nobody's going to want you. So you're going to stick it out with this Christine. I don't know why he keeps defending Christine when she's not being a mom. Even though, let's say, okay, Andre went to go do the second term, or the term that he did. But you probably had the son with Andre. You probably had that son with him way before. I had the son prior to that, so I'm just like, okay, so what? Like, you don't want the son? Like, this whole situation with Christine is really confusing. Nate's defending Christine. He gets mad, and then he tells his sister Delilah that's taking care of his son to get out. You telling me to get out when I'm trying to help you, when I'm taking care of your son, and your wife is over here doing what she's doing with another nigga, and she's not taking care of her kid. So basically, after Nate kicks Delilah out for giving him the truth and telling him what's been happening, she goes to stand outside and she just composes herself and takes a breath, because I guess she was about to cry, because, you know, it was a little bit sad about how her brother came at her. But, you know, she just wants to relax, take a deep breath, and just not get overwhelmed, because she's very, you know, upset. You know, trying to help your brother, tell him, you know, what's going on. And it's like, he's mad at you, but not mad at the person. That's trifling. Then Maya gets home, and she tells Delilah that Miss Virginia would like to meet up at 3 o'clock the following day. Now, Delilah was like, oh, can she reschedule? And of course, Maya was like, Mom, hello, the lady's giving me these lessons for free. Delilah was like, okay, you know what? All right, fine. Okay, I'll go meet her up at 3. And then Marcus comes home, and when he comes home, it's after dark. And remember, in that first episode, Delilah told Marcus, don't be at Jefferson Park at nighttime. And of course, how kids be trifling, you know, he's like, oh, well, Dad lets me go. And it's like, why do they do that? Why do they do that? Like, it doesn't matter if Dad lets you go. I'm telling it. Maybe because he's a boy and boys want to look up to their dad. But I just hate that whole thing of mom says yes, dad says no. And then the kids be like, oh, well, this parent will let me do it. It's like, but I'm telling you, no, you live with me. You live at this house. And she went over and tried to talk to him. I was like, girl, no. Delilah calls Gordon basically about the whole situation of not wanting Marcus to be at the park after a certain time. And this dumb dude says, oh, he can handle himself. And she's like, no, sir. Did you not hear about the other boy, about what happened to him? Like, I don't want my son at the park after a certain time. I'm trying to raise a black boy, and I'm trying to make sure that he don't get killed by the police. Like, that he doesn't die, that he's gonna live and be alive, and you're not on the same page as me. And she basically tells him, like, until we're on the same page, he's not going over there. Which I agree, like, you just think it's all willy-nilly. He don't really care. Men who are like this, I don't get it. I don't get it. It's like you're spiting your ex-wife, which I don't know if they're divorced, but you're spiting your ex-wife by being on the opposite end to make her look bad. And they be mad when you leave them if they cheated, right? And then they try to make you look bad. But it's like, if you didn't cheat, we would be together. And what's up with y'all thinking that if you cheat or if you do some trifling, that a woman's supposed to stay with you? Hello? AKA Martha Holt. Okay, this is the Martell Holt complex, you know? The whole, well, at least Martell Holt takes care of his kids, even though he's trifling, but he takes care of his kids. But Gordon, I think I want hard-boiled eggs to go with my bagel. Leah implies that Gordon isn't really doing anything over there. And he's like, oh, I am. You think I'm not doing nothing? I'm grading papers. And that's when we see the little girlfriend, like, and she's like, oh, you don't, what'd she say? You don't have to take that, hang up. And he gonna say, you know what? I'm gonna talk to you when you're not upset. Let's take a look at this dynamic, right? On Delilah's end, this conversation made sense. On the other end, you're with a guy, he's talking to his child's mother about their child. They're not talking about anything relating to them. And it's nothing that you should feel that he should have to hang up the phone if she's talking to him about their son. For her to tell him to hang up and he's like, oh, I'm going to talk to you. The reason he said that is because when Delilah said, who's that? It was kind of like, oh, snap. No, nobody, but I'll talk to you later. That's what it was. Because once it's like, who's that? It's like, nobody. What you mean nobody? So he kind of prevented it from happening to go into that end. And why she had to say something? He's the one not claiming you, ma'am. It's not Delilah, it's you and Gordon. So I feel like, I don't know why she did that. So then we see Tamara on the balcony, I guess in her penthouse condo, looking over the city. But his face comes outside and is like, oh, you know, why don't you just call her instead of just staring at her house from up here? And I'm like, well, damn, how close do you guys live from each other? Or are you just that high that you could see her house from down there? You feel me? But he's like, call her, you know, this doesn't have to happen. And they moved the conversation, which he brought her another glass. And I don't know why. I felt like, why would you give her more alcohol? But hey, I don't know why that thought popped up in my head. Like, it's okay. She could drink. They're drinking. So the conversation moves to inside because of what happened. And she's explaining that, you know, she didn't know that one was going to do that. And I guess she doesn't know how to approach Delilah. And then his name is Casey. His name is Casey, but his face name is Casey. And he's the deputy mayor. We find that out. So Casey is Tamara's boyfriend, and he's a deputy mayor of Charlotte. This show takes place in Charlotte, North Carolina. And so he tells her how he faked being an architect because she said, okay, Tamara said, is it a crime to fake being a reporter? But then he was like, oh, it's not a crime, but it could be a misdemeanor if it causes harm to the person. And then that's when she was like, well, how do you know? And he's like, because I faked being an architect when I was working on a case. Okay. So then basically, you know, he said, you'll be fine. And she says, I'm fine. Then they start kissing and she's like, don't try to make me forget about everything with sex. And then he says something and I'm like, he's not cute to me. Delilah gets a phone call from Jamal Harris. Jamal Harris is Butterface, aka Casey's homeboy. He got Delilah's phone number from Tamara. Don't do that. Don't do that. See, my best friend, I'm going to call her and ask her first. Tamara is overbearing. She pushes boundaries. She is basically playing... Jill Marie Jones is not too far of playing the same character she was in Girlfriends, you know? It's not a switch of a 180 of a different person. She's basically playing Tony. Because this whole, you know, giving people my phone number without my permission, even though Delilah was, you know, looking at him, but be like, hey girl, I'm gonna give him your phone number. You know, what's wrong with doing that? Yo, sis, I'm gonna give him your phone number because you was looking at him and I think you need to go out on a date because your baby daddy, aka ex-husband, is trifling and you need to have some fun. What's wrong with that conversation? That's what best friends do. Delilah's telling him right now it's not a good time. They're working on a case. Her and Tamara are against each other. She needs some time. So he's like, I'll check back in a month. And Delilah's like, yeah. And then, oh my God, the man said praying. And it was like Delilah got hot in the pants. This is the level I don't like. A man only got to say one thing to make you guys, oh, let me not say you guys, make us think he's different. And we're like, oh my God. Oh my God. I don't know how long she was with Gordon. At this point in life, we know that dudes, in the first few weeks, they are Prince Charming. Oh, let me pray for you. Let me pray over the food. They just be giving you all the sweet nothings and everything you want to hear. Just for a few months later down the road, it's like, oh, you got to pray over the food? Why? I'm sorry. I'm not saying I went through that, but just that whole, he started praying and she was like, I just haven't heard that in a long time. And I haven't been to church. And it's just like, girl, you gonna get hot in the pants because he said, I'm gonna pray for y'all? No, I'm saying, like, I just haven't heard that in a long time. Girl, stop, Delilah, relax. Well, Demetria is waiting at the office on the steps. The assistant pulls up. Then we see the scene of her driving around, parking her car, going through a door. And then Demetria's like, oh, do I get a key? And she's like, yes, it's on my desk. So she walks Demetria over. At first, I thought it was just a desk, but she has like a little office. And she's looking around and she's like, basically, I'm going to have to spruce this up because I don't like the way this office is looking. Who decorated this office? Oh, my God, no. Delilah comes in with the box. She off-rip gives Demetria the rundown. Here's what's going on. Here's a situation with Gary Shea. I can't remember his last name. Gary Shea or whatever. Go through these paperworks, copy them. How does she say it? She says, scan and bait them. And see. She tells Demetria to scan and bait the documents and to wear gloves because they're going to need this evidence for a murder investigation. Also, while Delilah was talking to Demetria about the whole situation with the Osbournes, she knew a little background about it. And when Delilah was like, oh, how do you know? She's like, I get some type of paper she gets every morning. So she knows basically some things about what's going on in Charlotte regarding businesses and whatever. When Delilah was telling Demetria about the scan and bait, she's like, why don't you use the MD5? And she's like, oh, no, I like the scan and bait. Every time, it's like Demetria comes to new advanced technology and then Delilah will act like, no, I like the old school. Then she'll go to her sisters like, oh, so what's this? It's like, just say, oh, I never heard of it. I'm going to look into it. Oh, but I'm like, no, girl, you ain't had to do that. But then Nate is talking to someone and he said he needs help with Delilah. You this mad that your sister is like, your wife is trifling, not taking care of her son, and you mad at your sister for having your back. I'll be damned. Gordon is in his home having a virtual session with a student. Her name is Tanisha. You catch that real quick. And then his girlfriend comes in and he's like, well, I wasn't expecting you today. She was like, oh, you know, did I interrupt something? And he's like, no, not really. What's up? So at first I was a little confused, but I'll walk you through it. She said her and her roommate found out that their landlord is selling the property, right? And they're going to have to find somewhere to go. So at this point, I assumed, or I thought in my head that, oh wait, Gordon lives with her and her roommate this whole time. So he's shacking up with her in her room. But then of course, as it goes on, well, at the end of the scene, right when the scene was ending, I found out, no, that's not the case. So basically she was like, you know, it's a perfect opportunity. We've been together she said back together. And I didn't hear back together. I didn't think it was anything, but then I did, you know, as the episode progresses. So she's like, we've been back together for almost a year now. And he's like, wait, I'm gonna tell you exactly how he said it. Gordon says, we gotta do this thing in order. So when he said, she's like, what do you mean in order? He's like, oh, well, we just got back together and Delilah doesn't know yet. And I'm like, wait a minute. So she's like, I have 3 weeks to move and whatever. And basically, from this scene, my brain went, Delilah doesn't know. This must be the student he cheated on her with. Then it's, oh, he has his own place. And she's trying to insinuate that she should move in with him. Signs. First, he calls you grading papers. It ain't nobody. Second, you ain't meet his kids. He don't want you to meet his kids. Now you got to find somewhere to live in 3 weeks. And you telling her like, you know, we've been back together, right? Back, meaning you guys were already together. Now you're back together again. And he's looking like, we got to do things in order. So she gets up. I forgot what name she got. She gets up and he's like, oh, come back here. And she's like, oh, I'm just going to go in and do some work if that's okay with you. Girl, you stupid. You stupid. I'm not going to call her stupid. But I want to have my stuff. See, no. So you don't want to live with me? Is that what you're saying? Like, you okay with banging me out? First, you don't want me to meet your kids. Then you don't want your ex-wife, if she is the ex-wife at this point, to know we're together. Now I'm telling you I ain't got nowhere to live, and I got 3 weeks to find somewhere to live, and you like, well, we're moving a little too fast. We got to slow down. I think she needs to realize this man don't. And when he was talking to Tanisha, it didn't give any vibes that it was something. But they're trying to create a vibe for us that maybe Gordon, because they never say he changed, but there's this inclination that they're putting off that he might be doing more than being a professor or whatever the heck he is with these students. Because it was just the way they made a scene. They set up the scene that he's talking to somebody. Then when his girlfriend comes, he's like, okay, well, I'll talk to you another time, and closes the laptop. Like, Ella is practicing for Miss Virginia, and Miss Virginia's like, is your mom coming soon? So right when Maya's about to call Delilah, she shows up. Delilah and Virginia are talking. And basically it's like, so I get the feeling that, you know, this whole free thing, like, is it really free? You want to help my daughter for free? It's like, I'm just trying to make sure that it's really free. Miss Virginia gonna say, well, with the way your daughter and her father came, I assume you don't have money to pay me. for these tutoring sessions. Miss Virginia. Miss Virginia. You ain't gotta talk about my business like that. And don't do that. Don't do that. And basically to Miss Virginia, it's like, I'm just trying to help out any black girls that I can because of symphony. I think it's called symphony or orchestra, whatever the case is. It's more so for the pale colored people rather than, because I don't want to say nothing, because yesterday I found out that Instagram had, deleted a comment of mine. You know how we people like be in the comments on Instagram, and instead of putting white people, we put whitey. Girl, it was either somebody white reported my comment because I didn't put white, I put YT, which could stand for YouTube. All I said was white people are so, I forgot what it was about. So now it's like, hey, maybe that's my get back, because I flashed my comment on YouTube because their comment was really out of order. Like, they were getting violent in the comment section on a video I was watching. So now all of a sudden, my comment was it was comment removed for hate speech or symbols. And it said, y'all see that? That's all I wrote. YT people so weird. I should fight it. But they just removed the comment. Like, I don't want to get into it. I'm not going to get into it. So Miss Virginia wants to help Maya out because that way there could be more representation, more room for brown and black people in that field. And that's why she wants to do it for free, because she really wants to help Maya. Delilah says she wants Maya to have a good life. Miss Virginia says she'll have a good life if you allow her to follow your dreams. So we're about to see where this is going to go, because it's centered around a feeling of, I want my daughter to not get hurt and to not work hard for nothing. And then Miss Virginia's like, just let her do what she wants to do and follow her dreams. Assistant comes through and she tells Demetria, is she okay with locking up? And she's like, yeah, I'm okay with that now that I have a key. And she looks around the little room and she's like, oh, you fixed it up. And she's like, yeah, I put a little feng shui. I'm just waiting on my plants and my air purifier. And assistant was like, but you don't have no window. And then Demetria said, well, I got a plan. So we don't know if she about to knock a wall down and put a window, but Demetria has a plan. She's going through the paperwork and she finds something, and we're about to find out what it is. So in the last scene of the episode, let's see if I can remember everything off the top of my dome. Mason is his name. I still want to call him Detective Friend. Detective Friend, aka Mason, is over at Delilah's house. They're having some drinks. She said, thank you for coming over. She just needed to be around some people. There was some conversation that made me feel like, were they messing around back in the day or something? Or are they just friends? Because it was kind of like that vibe, like, yeah, And I'm like, we gonna find out. Because I was like, are they just strictly friends? Or are they lovers and friends? Or were they ex-lovers that are now friends? I don't know. Or does he have feelings for her and they never acted upon it? I don't know, Mason. So they're talking about everything, about what's been going on. Because as we know, Tamara and Delilah has this issue with this case, and it's causing a rift, right? Now, before I go on to the next part, let me make sure I'm not forgetting nothing. Okay. While they're sitting down talking, there's a knock on the door, or there's a ring at the door. And then Delilah was like, hey, Marcus, Maya, did you guys invite somebody over for dinner? And they're like, no. And also something about Marcus, I think Marcus is making meatballs. And he makes good meatballs, if I remember that clearly. So when she goes to open the door, it's Colonel. Colonel is there to pick up Dion. Let me tell y'all something else. We don't know the backstory about Colonel. I don't know why Delilah is so head over heels protective about Dion. She doesn't want him to take Dion. Oh, he's only 5 years old. You know, basically when Nate was talking to somebody and saying, I need help with Delilah, he was talking to his daddy to help him out with Delilah. Because, of course, Nate is a bitch-ass nigga. So he calls his daddy that he knows his sister doesn't get along with and to come pick up his son. You know, and he wants the son, Dion, to stay with Colonel Colony. Colonel Colony. Child. Whatever. Until he gets released. So then she's like, no. And then he tells her, since you're the lawyer in the family, can the father not request where he wants his son? And she just, I'll be back. So she goes to get Dion. He said, why is Papa here? And basically, I want to stay here with you. Child, that lit the fire under Delilah's ass. I'm not letting him go. Have you not done enough? And I'm like, damn, what did he do? And now we know for sure that's her father. What did your daddy do to you, Delilah? She just is so like, oh no, but he's a grandfather. And then he's like, oh, she's not going to allow Nate to leave any more scars on a 5-year-old boy's heart than he already has. Okay, Delilah. So then she goes inside. She's like, nobody ever learns. And she's just upset that she apologizes for Marcus for telling him, Marcus, do the damn meatballs. Wait, let me say it. How'd she say it? Marcus, make the damn meatballs, you know? So when they're back inside, she's like, aren't you happy you came? I don't know if she said that at this point or the next point. So then she hears another ring at the door and she thinks it's her daddy again. But it's Tamara. And Tamara comes over with this little, I think it was chips and dip. And she's like, oh, hey. We need to talk about why Jamal called you for a date and you didn't do the date. We're going to call him and be like, oh, it was a mistake, yada, yada, yada. Because Tamara loves Delilah and she loves their friendship. She doesn't want to lose their friendship over this case. But at the same time, she just wants Delilah to just lay down and lose. So Delilah's like, I'm not in the mood right now. And she's like, but we have a promise to each other. We never go to sleep angry. And there was a little smirk. But she kept telling her, like, I can't right now. Now it's not a good time. And Tamara's getting emotional. And this is when I found out that the detective friend's name is Mason. She's like, Mason, can you tell her? Mason, turn around, like, don't put me in. Girl, don't put me in this. Okay, y'all, can you talk to her? Don't put me in this. Okay, like, you cool or whatever. So you can see Tamara's face is like, oh my God, oh my gosh. She's like, we're not gonna do this over a case. We can't lose our friendship. And Tamara's like, not right now. My dad just popped up trying to get Dion, and I think that made her feel like, okay, I'll let it go. But it's still like, I'll let it go for now. But she kind of like, fine. But at the same time, girl, don't let this be the end of our friendship. So she goes out. She stands outside for a little bit. And I'm like, am I missing something? Did she see something? Or is she just standing out there to be like... And she tells the kids, I love you guys. So like, we love you too. So then she goes back inside the kitchen. And Maya's like, you guys are still friends, right? She's like, yeah. You guys will find out. Everything grows, sometimes together, sometimes apart. Sometimes they're not gonna do it. And it's like, and it's Demetria. Demetria said she took 2 buses. I think her wig was upside down, and she's like, I had to come here and show you this. So she shows her the documents, and basically what we find out is malfunction, equipment malfunction, right? So it's like, oh, okay, we already knew this. Like, there was something wrong with the radios. Why are we acting like this is something? What we're looking for is for a correlation between Mr. Shea, Gary Shea's death, and the radios, and if there was a motive and a possibility that his death was actually a homicide/murder rather than a suicide. But okay, but this was the juicy part. Demetria gives her another folder. When she looks at that folder, I was confused because remember, it's a news show. I don't really know the names. I don't really know what's going on. I was a little confused. So I heard Christine and Nate, and I was like, what the fuck is Christine? Nate? I thought her name was Gary. And my brain was like, mind you, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. So I'm like, what? So after a while, after the episode goes off, then I was like, oh. So basically, she looks into the paperwork, equipment malfunction again, but this time it's about Nate. Remember, Nate's in a wheelchair. Remember, Nate went back after Christine didn't want him to, who was his wife. So when she looks into it, in the paperwork that says equipment malfunction, it's an issue because Nate told Christine and told Delilah that it was an ambush, that he doesn't really remember what happened. All he remembers is there was an ambush. So now it's, so did he know? Is it in the original paper? Is it in the copy he got? And then detective friend Mason was like, the only way to know is if he still has the copy. So now it's like more stuff for Delilah to be like, Nate, what's going on? But then it's like, but Nate don't want to talk to you. Nate's already mad at you about the Christine situation. Mason tells Delilah she's going to have to talk to Nate. But then it's like, no, not right now, because Nate mad at you. If you come at Nate, you didn't give the father, your father, grandpapa, the son, like Nate asked to, even though he told daddy to go get the son rather than telling rather than telling Delilah, look, can you give my son to my daddy? So now it's about to be, in my opinion, she gonna roll up to the VA hospital. He gonna get mad. She gonna be like, why you told daddy come get Dion? Also, why did you lie and tell you were ambushed rather than telling the truth that it was an equipment malfunction? So I don't know what's about to happen, but Delilah, you're pissing people off. You pissing Nate off. You got beef with your daddy. You want Tamara. She don't want to, even though she's trying to run you and tell you what to do, but at the same time, she don't want to lose a friendship. But then you focused on all, girl, it's a case. I don't know why you taking it so personal. Worry about the troops. That's the government's job. The only thing that will make me feel like to fight for Leah is the fact that they want her to sign an NDA and wants her to hand over the electronics. Other than that, why not let her sign a deal? You're going up against a big corporation. You're going up against a big law firm. Keep in mind that she had lost the case that she did for the assistant. Episode was really good. I enjoyed the episode. We about to see what's going to happen. Delilah, like, she needs to slow down. You got 2 kids that you got to raise. You got a fucked up baby father. You are taking on the responsibility of your nephew. You're dealing with this case. You and your best friend situation's messed up. You got daddy issues. So we're about to find out what's about to happen. I'm intrigued. I'm not dying to see the next episode. Like, oh my God, I can't wait to see it. But I am entertained. It was a good episode. It's picking up. It was a good episode. Yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed my review. It's a little bit all over the place. Starts off in the car, ends up on the floor. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please like the video. Please comment down below. Please subscribe to the channel for more reviews. Let's see what happens with this show. That same music they used to play when they were like on the last episode of Greenleaf, now they're playing in Delilah, which we know the people who made Greenleaf made Delilah. I hope you guys enjoyed my review. Thank you for watching. Emerald Blue, and I'm out. Have a great, beautiful day, and I have a paper to work on. Y'all wish me luck, 'cause